Smoked her. 54 yards. Boom, done.
Monday, January 14th, and bow season was still open last week in Kentucky.
Boom.
And we filled some tags at the Kentucky Proving Grounds.
Growing Deer TV is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops, also by Reconics, Trophy Rock, Non-Typical Wildlife Solutions, Muddy Outdoors, Eagle Seed, Nikon, Winchester, Redneck Hunting Blind, Dead Downwind, Record Rack, Foxworthy Outdoors, Scent Master, Antler Dirt.
Last week, Adam and Brian of the Growing Deer team and Adam Brook, one of our new pro staffers, all loaded up and headed to the Kentucky Proving Grounds. The first night in Kentucky, Adam Brook and I jumped in the stand and we were right in the action. We had deer all over us. We made some great observations, but anything that was in range was not what we wanted to take a shot at. As the days progressed, Adam and I started honing in on where we really needed to be. We had to move the muddies from tree to tree a couple times, but finally, we ended up in the right spot.
All right, it's Wednesday night, January the 9th. That's the fourth night of our hunt here in the Kentucky Proving Grounds. Trying to manage a few does. We have seen the last couple days deer absolutely killing clover up and down these roadways, so that's what we're on tonight. The cool thing is we've got a weather front moving in tonight. The next couple days is supposed to rain, so we're hoping that we get deer up on their feet moving in on us. So we're having our fingers crossed. We hope for a good evening this evening, that's for sure. She puts her head down, we'll take her. Smoked her. Smoked her. 54 yards. Smoked her, baby. 54 yards. It's got her right there. She's going down. Boom, done. Gracious enough, allow me to come in here and try to take some deer, thin out some of these does. And we have had our tails kicked for the last couple of days, so sometimes does can be rewarding, and that right there is a rewarding doe, that's for sure. So.
That's a good sign, isn't it? Complete pass through. Yeah, right here. She's a lot bigger doe than I thought she was.
Do
That's
that.
the exit right there. That's the exit right there.
Let's see here.
Let's roll.
How far was it? 57?
54.
54. Let's see.
You can say 57. Right there. Let me get a light on her. Right there.
Oh, perfect. Golly. It's gonna have her body all weird.
Okay.
Yeah, right out there by that sagebrush.
January the 11th, last morning in Kentucky. Brian and I were getting out of the truck this morning. We said it feels like turkey season. It's warm. It's in the 50s to low 60s at 6 in the morning. It's a tad bit breezy. It rained last night. Big front came through. Tons of rain. Got clover. We've got a southwest wind, so we're hoping that some of the deer to the north of us will come out and maybe feed down along the clover out into the food plot. So that's the plan. We shall see if it works. I keep thinking I hear something that way. Why is they were that close? I know. She didn't see me. She didn't see me. That's a big doe, isn't it? What? Ready? Boom!
Done deal.
That didn't take long. Wow. After how many days is this? 5.
We've been here since Sunday.
It's Friday. What? The way this week has gone, I was envisioning them to walk out and go right there and then walk that way. And so I'm just sitting here thinking, okay, well, I'll kind of grab my bow and then I look and it was right there.
Here's just some blood. Holy cow, she's pumping her now. Big old nanny and just a beautiful coat on her. She has a double white patch.
Oh, that's cool.
As you've seen, it was another very productive week for the Growing Deer team. An advantage to harvesting does during the late season is you can get data on exactly when they were bred. On does that are harvested as part of the wildlife management program, we simply remove those fetuses, use a ruler developed by Joe Hamilton, the founder of the Quality Deer Management Association, measure them to see how old they are, and then flip it over to a calendar on the back and backdate to see what day they were bred. 3/27, that doe was bred on November 23rd. November 23rd. If the seasons are open long enough in your area for the fetuses to be big enough to measure, you can collect a large enough sample size to really define when the bulk of the breeding occurs on your property. Part of my excitement is the year-round management program we're involved with at the Kentucky Proving Grounds. I need three samples. One is just everything. You know, Jeff, we're looking at 30 plus bushel an acre here
Absolutely.
on a site that was literally pine stumps last year.
I know, it's unbelievable. Even in a drought.
In a drought year.
Even if it was an ideal year, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's one thing to generically plant a food plot, but it's another thing to do soil samples every year to make sure the nutrients are in the ground that can transfer to the plants and the deer. And doing vegetative samples of what they're eating at different times of year assures you that that nutritional plane is there so deer can express their full potential. Here we are in January. These beans haven't been harvested. A little shocking to you, isn't it?
Odd to see this kind of bean stand this time of year for sure.
Yeah. Jeff, of course, is an expert in nutrient and soil analysis. We grew these for deer browse. You can see that these are Eagle Seed beans chest tall on Jeff and I, but we want to see the nutrient value. It's one thing to grow a big crop. Trees are big, but deer would starve to death if they're eating trees. So Jeff, we obviously grew a good crop here, but explain to me just really briefly and simple for me so I can understand it about what happened here. The nutrients transferred and came into this crop. What happened here?
Well, we know we started with the soil, then we planted a crop. It's all a cycle. Started with the soil, got into the plant, now we're going to see what the feed value is of the plant before it goes into the deer.
Just like everything in life, cycle. We start from nothing, we grow something, and it goes back into the soil.
That's
It's
correct.
always a cycle. Most major agricultural universities throughout the United States offer a soil sampling service, but I like to use a private lab, Walters Ag. There's a link right below me, because they specialize in custom analysis to help me produce better crops. I want to send samples to your lab and see exactly what the deer are getting. And of course, when deer eat soybeans, they tend to just do this. They pull off the pods and all, put the pods in their belly, spit the stems out. So the best way for me to determine what's going in their body is what?
Actually take the part of the plant and take it just like you demonstrated how that deer is going to strip that off the plant. That's exactly what I want to test and see what the protein content, fiber is, and so forth.
And literally in a matter of 24 to 36 hours, you're going to email me those results back and I can see exactly what's going on.
That's exactly right.
You know, Jeff, it's also important to realize that even though we do this, we may not get exactly true representation because deer are using their nose and everything else to figure out exactly which is the best bean pod here. And if there's one that may be an insect damage or has a little virus or disease, deer will pass that up. So this is what I call a minimal analysis because deer are eating the very best available.
That's correct. And so we got to make sure we got good representation. It's not going to be the highest or the lowest necessarily as far as feed content, but we have a good representation.
That's right. So that's why we kind of walk around and get here and there like a deer does when you see them out in the field. They don't just stand in one place like a cow or a sheep. We'll have those results back this week from the lab, and I'll be glad to share those so you can see our combination of antler dirt and the plants we're growing and how we're feeding the deer at the Kentucky Proving Grounds. As you enter into the post-hunting season, you're shed hunting or out working with food plots or preparing for the next year, take a moment to enjoy creation and a quiet moment to let the Creator talk to you. Thanks for watching GrowingDeer.tv.
Okay, how do I say this? Sun's coming up, bluebird day, crisp and, not crisp and warm, that doesn't make any sense. Rained all night, nope. The switch flipped overnight, nope. I saw your face, I was like, eh.